You can't hear it, but it's clearly raining. The most important day of my life, depending on when the next important thing in my life comes around, the most important thing in my current life right now, and it's raining. Go figure. So, I don't know how I'm going to start this video. I just basically turned on the camera and just said, I'm just going to talk, ramble, conjugate, the whole 9 yards, just basically talk about anything and everything. Because what just happened today, or by the time this video gets released, yesterday, something that I've been waiting for a while now. And that is to finally reach the 3-digit subscriber count number. I am now at 100 subscribers. Now, for some YouTubers, that's no biggie, that's no big deal. But for a small YouTuber like myself, 100 is a big deal. You have to recycle the thought in your mind continuously. There are 100 people, 100 individual people, who actually decided to press that subscribe button. Now, technically the way YouTube has it, you have the subscriber function button, but to receive notification on any video that a YouTube content creator creates now, you have to hit that bell icon to where it notifies you. But if you just look through your subscription menu, their videos will still pop up. And that's the thing that's interesting, is that even though you may not have hit that bell icon to get a notification every single time you go on YouTube and stuff, you still hit that subscriber button, meaning that occasionally you'll go into your subscriber menu and you will see my face or one of my videos pop up on there. Depending on who you're subscribed to, of course, mind you. And that's the interesting thing, is that you do not mind this. You do not mind what I do. You don't mind what I say, to some degree. Some may vary, which I'll talk to in a little bit. And that is mind-blowing to me still. To me, that is still mind-blowing at the fact that there are 100 people who was just interested enough that they hit subscribe. That's the thing. That is what gets me the most, is the fact that there are 100 people who actually did it. Now, for the record, the majority of the subscribers, I probably would have to say, comes from Delmar's channel, in which case, thank you. But to that degree, I still cannot thank every last one of you enough for subscribing to my channel. Again, 100 isn't a big deal, but to me, it affects me enough for what it does. It tells me that even though I'm not the best example of a YouTuber, much less the best YouTuber on the platform, it's enough that people are interested in me. They're interested in my hobby. They're interested in the stuff that I want to talk about. They're interested in everything that I do. And that's what I like the most. And that's how it should be. That's how YouTube is designed to be, is to broadcast yourself. Why even do YouTube if you're just going to fake yourself on the platform, and instead of being you, you're being someone else? I think we hear this a lot, but there are people who actually mask themselves, impersonate as someone else, and it kind of carries through themselves in their daily routine. In other words, the person that you may know on the platform is a completely different person in real life. And we've kind of seen this happen from time to time, where there's a potential YouTuber who we think we know who he is or she. We think we know what they're like and stuff like that, but then all of a sudden something happens, and then they turn over and show their real selves. And it's aggravating to watch this subtle change so quickly, you know. It's not like oh, well, they've had a number of things happen. No, sometimes it could be just one tiny thing, and it tips the scale and shows their true color. And to me, if you're not willing to show who you really are, then you're not really a YouTuber. You know, there's a reason why the channel is called YouTube to begin with. It's broadcasting you on a platform. Thus, YouTube. So, with that being in mind, that is what's important to me, is the fact that I can still broadcast myself and still see what everyone else does. You know, everyone else goes through these and everything like that, but I'm actually able to finally climb up that mountain finally. Now, again, it could very well be different whenever I finally reach 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, and hell, if I ever get to that point, I doubt it, but if I ever get to that point, 1 million subscribers, that would be insane. And that's the thing that's I feel like I need to talk about, is all of these other stuff that goes around, you know. And trust me, I hear it all. I hear it all. You know, a lot of people have talked about YouTube, a lot of people have talked about Twitter and stuff like that, and I actually want to talk about it all, actually. My thoughts, my opinions, where I'm going to be, where I'm actually going to evolve from here and stuff like that. I want to talk about it all. So, let's talk about the YouTube side of things, okay? Now, I know, and everyone knows, YouTube is not the best website. It is not the best video streaming thing that we have now. It is not the best. And, you know, 10 years ago, YouTube used to be a place where you could make a living off of it. You technically could. However, as years go on, YouTube had to change things so that they themselves could survive. They've had to evolve, they've had to change certain rules and guidelines in order to survive other potential threats. By threats, we'll talk about those in just a sec. And they've had to adjust numerous times. At the end of the day, YouTube is, unfortunately, a individual corporation. You know, I'm sure at first they used to be this small garage type platform that allowed you to upload a video or two and stuff like that, show funny videos and everything like that. And back then, YouTube was actually considered more or less like a program apps, or like Java and stuff, because people would upload funny videos and everything. And now YouTube has gotten so big to where it kind of acts like its own Netflix almost. You've got individual people who make video series, you know. You've got the completionist who does videos about completing games and everything. You've got the gaming historian who talks about the history of games and products and companies. You've got journalists who does random videos regarding news of any type of thing depending on their category that they are depicted in. You've got theorist videos. You've got tech demos. You've got other big corporations who make videos specifically for YouTube purposes. And it is kind of mind-blowing to think of how big it has gotten since like the early days of YouTube, you know. I still remember whenever I first got my first computer back in high school. You know, YouTube was very different back then. It was very much different. And it's kind of hard to believe that it's been like almost, I think if I can remember precisely, I think it's been like 15 years now since I've gotten a computer. It has been that long. I think it's been either 15 or 13 years. It's been somewhere between that realm. And, you know, I would see YouTube, eBay, and stuff like that, and they were a lot different what they were back then, and now they're tremendously different. And that's only because they've had to change so much just to go through the times. And times have changed drastically in those 10, 15 years. You know, there has been some major differences. I think one of the biggest things that's different is the fact that, you know, it's more censorship. Now, I'm not pointing fingers or anything like that, but I think we can name a couple of big headline YouTubers who are to blame for this. Now, we're not going to be naming anybody in particular, but you guys on YouTube, you probably know who I'm referring to. But because of their risque videos, and it's one of those things where it's like, it's kind of hard to say they're broadcasting themselves, because when they get invited to like Ellen DeGeneres or Fox News, which is disgusting to think that, but to see these people show up on those platforms, they dress all fancy and stuff like that, they become a different person, they try to look professional, but then when you look on YouTube, they act silly, they act goofy and stuff, and it's one of those things where it's like, you don't know if they're betraying themselves, or if they're just putting on a mask to different platforms and stuff. You know, I think if we had them show up at a show, like for example, actually I don't know any shows. I really don't. I don't know television. It's been so long since I've watched television, but mostly watching Netflix and Hulu and stuff, so that's kind of bad. But anyway, but to that degree though, I think they need a proper platform that shows who they are. And it's kind of weird to see companies like Disney, for that matter. You know, when you hear these certain YouTubers say that Disney was invested with them, it was like, wait, what? Did Disney do their homework at all? Did they do their homework, period? You know? It's like they didn't do any investigation, they didn't do any research. They just said, oh, these got big numbers, which means big money for us, right? But they don't realize who they really are. That's the crazy part. They don't know who they are. They don't know the platform they're on. They don't know the audience that they have. They just don't know. And it bothers me that, you know, we went from an age where the only thing you had to worry about when it comes to censorship was basically saying if you are 18 of age or older, and that was it. And of course, that thing was easily go around. All the child had to do was say yes, they were over the age of 18. They didn't have to worry about their birth date or anything like that. They could just lie in their profile saying that they were 18 or over, and they could watch whatever video they wanted. Originally, it was just a simple thing of like, hey, age restriction. Do you do age restriction content? And if you do yes, that means that only people who are over the certain age could watch that. Now, the way the system works, anyone can watch it. And now YouTube has to be more and more strict because parents who won't be parents choose to blame YouTube for certain stuff that clearly they should have been responsible for. They themselves should be responsible for the majority of the stuff that goes on. You know, they have to watch their child, but they refuse to, and instead of being responsible parents, they'll blame other corporations. And so YouTube, to follow up on this, they have to protect themselves from potential lawsuits, potential problems that can occur. So they have to censor their platform. And that is mind-boggling to me. To know that a simple thing of like age restriction content that was already applied, now everything is restricted. Doesn't matter what it is, if it's sensitive or not, whether you curse or anything like that. Any small saying now, if you do, they have to penalty you in a number of ways. One of which is the most popular, is demonetization. Meaning that your videos won't make money on YouTube. And that's just one problem. Okay, that's just one major problem. Another major problem is bigger corporations. Like from Hollywood, like from New York, or some other music industry, or movie industry, game industry, and stuff like that. Now, it makes it hard to even talk about anything in general. You know, the way YouTube had kind of tried to fix stuff, it makes it as if you can't even talk about anything, period. You could just do a video talking about the recent Lion King live action movie. Not show any images of the movie, not even remotely put music or stuff. You're just doing this, Show yourself talking about the film and stuff like that. And that video will somehow stupidly get demonetized due to the fact that you're just talking about it. You're not even remotely talking about spoilers. You're just talking about the films, the visuals, and everything. And that's the crazy part, And YouTube has become so messed up that it doesn't even know what it's doing. Like, they know what they're trying to fix, but they themselves don't know how the platform will relate to the real world, how it will relate to everybody else. And so they're trying to be careful, because chances are, here's the thing, YouTube is a platform. So here's the thing, if like there's a music or a video or something that contains copyrighted material, and a corporation sees that, they see it in two ways. One person will see it as like a contribute towards what they have done or what they have made and stuff like that, and that's the good part of things. But then you get the corrupted side of things, where a company will think they're using that to harm their brand, to harm the company directly, or anything of that nature. They will see that as a potential threat of any kind. And so to right this wrong in their minds, they think they're doing a right, when in reality it's hurting it. But they think that if they push copyright lawsuit on top of the platform and stuff, that it will erase that video, that it will push them out of the platform, it will get them away, like they don't want to see it. And so YouTube has to be careful how that goes, because they're the first one who has to receive this. They're the first one who has to see it, unfortunately. And then they have to go, well, we only hold the platform. That doesn't necessarily mean we control the individual person of what they can and can't do. That's what the platform's made for originally, is for freedom of creativity. And corporations don't want that. They don't want that to be a freedom of where they can take their product and use it freely, thus copyright infringement and stuff. And so YouTube had created, well, not so much created, but they tried to morph how copyrighted content works, how it can be used in videos and stuff of that nature. And unfortunately, it is now so messed up that no one in the right mind knows how the platform works, much less how it is able to be used to another person's way of fixing it all together. Like, if we took this one thing, the copyrighted infringement, took it to court, we would have so many people on this particular subject alone. We would have so many people on all different sizes we didn't even know existed. It's like, well, there is some use of infringement that could help. There is a way we can adjust it, and followed by the fact of like, well, we don't want too much of it. It's okay to do certain things, but you can't specifically do this or this and this and this. And then you got like the pure no, none whatsoever. If we even see a second of it, video goes down immediately. And some people are like, well, we can't do that completely. You get what I'm saying? It's a confused mess, is what it is. A confused mess. And unfortunately, YouTube has now become a platform to where it originally was a place where you could make a living off of it, to where now it is no longer feasible to even remotely make money on YouTube. It is no longer there. Like, the ideal concept of making money on YouTube is no longer there. It is gone, okay? The second you even remotely talk about anything involving the industry at all, any particular copyrighted infringement topic, or if you even curse, let alone if you say something light like damn or crap and stuff, let alone if you do anything like that. Any controversial subjects, which people do a lot of, and that's how they're able to even remotely get attention, is by being controversial. Anything involving news-related stuff, anything involving unhappy thoughts, which they don't technically put that in the disclaimer, but they actually do it. In other words, if people talk about recovering from depression and stuff, or recovering from a doctor visit, or even remotely talking about their family issues and stuff like that, trying to be uplifting about the problem they had to go through, YouTube will straight out say no to that video and demonetize it. That is the sad thing. People be like, well, this is beneficial, this is helping people. And YouTube be like, yeah, but it is a sensitive topic, which means it can harm another person in a way you may not see that. So we have to cut it from a payroll. We have to prevent it making money, or otherwise it could hurt someone. And YouTube is not wrong in that definition. They are not wrong. Because we live in a world where we have billions of people, and out of those billions of people, there's a handful, a group of people who think just like you, who remotely think like you, who remotely knows what you're talking about. But then there's a handful of people who will see that as harmful, offensive, and insulting to them for some reason. And so it doesn't matter what you do, because you have to follow YouTube's guideline, because that's how you're going to be noticed, is because you're uploading videos on YouTube. And so instead of making revenue from YouTube, now everyone's having to make revenue from everybody else. And I'm actually kind of glad that I've got on this late, because by this alone, it tells me that YouTube is not a place that it used to be anymore. YouTube could be a possibility of making a living. Now, good luck even getting past the copyright infringement, followed by demonetization that YouTube has to put itself through and stuff. So, with that said, it is a big mess. And so, instead of relying on that, I've now had to rely on two other categories. Category 1 being advertisements, which means I would have to go to every website and ask to see if they are needing advertisers, if they need people to advertise their products and stuff, and stuff of that nature. And I see two problems with that. Two problems. Problem number 1. If you do directly try to contact these individual corporations in order to do paid sponsorships and stuff, you have to literally sell yourself to that corporation. Meaning that if you want the deal to work perfectly, you have to go with that contract deal that they have specifically stated for. And even though it's for a limited time, like maybe a month or two, depending, I'm not sure how it all works for individual YouTubers, but that's just an ideal thought. But you have to go with a contract of what they have stated. And sometimes that may not go in your favor. That may not even directly go the way you have originally envisioned your channel, much less how you see yourself on the channel. It may go completely a different direction of how you normally do. Now, some don't really care. Some don't care how you do your YouTube channel, just so long as you broadcast their product. But if your channel, much less your videos, is something that they don't want to be relatedly connected to, then they'll just easily cut themselves from you. And that can be a rough area to work with, So advertisers is out of the question for me. So in reality, the only way that I could possibly survive on this platform, much less whenever I do get to the point of where I can make a living off of this, is you guys. You guys out there are what helps every other YouTube content creator, and what will potentially help me in this platform. you know, and I'm not going to push it out right now, you know. I'm still in a somewhat good position where I'm at right now. But someday, I will be asking you guys for help. It won't be now, and it's hard to say when and how far in the future it will be. But when that time comes, you know, the question will be, not only can I rely on you to watch my videos, to comment on my videos, to enjoy the content that I create and stuff, but can I rely on you to help me strive, to survive, to live on this platform, you know? And that's the big thing. And it's one of those things where it's hard for me to just trust 100 people because I know 100% isn't going to jump on board. So having more and more people will actually help in that regard. And I know people will be like, well, there are certain ways that you can actually do this. And that is true, yes, but considering how small I am compared to other big time YouTubers, you know, see it that way. So it's one of those things where it's like, just me alone versus everything else. You see how big that is now compared to it? I'm sure if I had 1 million subscribers, it would be a different story. But I have 100 subscribers. And so therefore, it's a small platform right now. Will it get bigger? Eventually it will get bigger. How big and how fast, that all depends from there. So, yeah, that's the YouTube side of things, of how I see it. I don't see YouTube as a way of making money anymore through YouTube directly. Now, through people watching, you know, like you guys and everybody else, maybe so, through donations and stuff. But I don't see YouTube as being profitable as it used to have been. Years ago, maybe it could have, but the way things are now, good luck trying. You know, so if you are trying to start on YouTube and stuff, be forewarned, it's not the same that it used to be 5-10 years ago. So many things has happened that made YouTube change, and it hurts other big time YouTubers, you know. Big time YouTubers are having to struggle. People who's had like almost 1 million subscribers are now having to rely on different sources and stuff. And it's kind of mind blowing to know that, but it's true. It's absolutely true. Now let's look at a different platform, and surprisingly, I do actually have some things to say about Twitch. You know, there are a lot of things to say. Twitch is actually the opposite of YouTube. I actually see Twitch being profitable to some degree. I actually do see it. But in a different sort of way, I suppose you could say. You know, YouTube, or Twitch, much like YouTube, does have to follow a certain set of guidelines, but at least they're not completely permanently restricted. You know what I mean? Like, you can actually be free to do what you want to say, what you want to talk about, and stuff of that nature. And yet, it kind of has this restricted guideline type thing. You know? It's sort of like, you can't just right off the bat make money. You have to be a affiliate partnership to some degree. Now, you can receive donations still through Twitch and all, without being an affiliate member. But until you become an affiliate member, there is no tactical, advanced way of making money. Like, for example, emotes, prompts, subscription service and stuff like that. I think you have to have, like, a specific number of followers / subscribers. And until you have that, you can't technically have the ability to accept subscriptions and stuff like that. It's a weird platform, and even right now, even the 2 years, almost 2 years, can you believe it? It's been almost 2 years since I've jumped on Twitch. I'm still learning stuff, you know, because I actually investigated on the whole subscription thing and stuff like that, because it's like, you know what, I actually wouldn't mind doing emotes, you know, like, have little Grover's face, you know, wouldn't that be cute? Just have Grover's little Photoshop face and spam it all over Twitch and stuff, you know. That would be kind of cute, actually, when you think about it. But for some reason, you have to have a subscription number before you're even remotely allowed to do that. And not to say that I don't agree with the ideal premise of subscription service on Twitch, but knowing what it technically is, I don't see it as like a Twitch streamers' main source of revenue. For those that don't know, if a person subscribes to Twitch, and depending on the tier, there's actually 3 tiers. Can you believe that? That's 3 tiers of subscription. The subscription allows you to have emotes. I'm sure there are different other privileges, but I'm not sure. But I know one of them is having different access to emotes and stuff. And so depending on the tier depends on what you technically get access to. There's a low tier, mid tier, and high tier. The only problem is that that's a 50-50 cut right down the middle. In other words, 50% goes to Twitch, the other 50% goes to you. And not to say that I don't agree with that, because technically that is an automatic enroll thing. In other words, every month they pull that from your bank account, your subscription service, your fee rather, every month. And that's a guarantee so long as you stay as a subscriber. You know, so people who have these things will have different tier emotes for different occasions. Like if you say subscribe for 6 months, for 12 months, for 18 months, so on and so forth. And that's cool that they have that feature. But after so long, what then? You know? Because, again, you're only receiving half of the profit itself. And while half is better than none, full-on donations would be better, I think, you know. Now, record is not an automatic type thing where if you choose to donate every month and stuff, it will do that. No, it's a freedom of donation. In other words, one month you may donate $1, the next month you may feel like you want to donate $10, the next month $5, so on and so forth. So it's one of those things where it's like, yes, it's not a constant thing like the subscription service, but at least you're guaranteed that person will get 100% of that particular donation. One way or another, it is 100%. Technically 99% because there is a cover charge, like 5 cents, I think, depending, I'm not sure. But the point is, they do get the full amount. So, right there in general, you have this particular platform of Twitch. And to see, for me, Twitch would be that ideal platform because generally I actually kind of like just playing the game and hanging out with people and stuff. It's the ideal premise and goal that I've actually wanted. Instead of recording ahead enough time for a Let's Play and just talking in front of the camera, I am actually physically talking to someone on the other end of the internet. I am physically talking to them. And so for me, Twitch is that ideal premise, that ideal goal. Except there are other issues you have to go through. For example, one of them is potential trollers. I actually went through a case of one troll. He was kind of posting, and thank goodness no one was there during that stream. That would have definitely not have been good. I didn't really want to go through a moment of where had a Twitch war going on against one troll versus everyone else. That would definitely not have been good. But this one troller was typing in like risque, edgy stuff and everything like that, and I didn't like it. And so I basically more or less put him in a timeout. It's hard to believe how fluctuated YouTube is. You know, to have a timeout thing. And then all of a sudden, after that timeout, he was back to doing it again. I told him, I said, if you keep doing this, I will ban you. Thankfully, he stopped, and I hadn't seen him again, but someone tells me that won't be the first time I'll have to go through something like that. You know, there is that potential chance that you will have to go through stuff like that. And, you know, I think that's what you have to do. You have to go through all of that before you can even remotely get to the platform that you want to be. And the funny thing is, I forgot who it was that said it better, but if you are planning on making a living on the internet at any point in time at all, or if your hobby mainly focused around the internet and stuff, you have to be prepared to face negativity right at the face of it. You have to face it literally. And if you're not prepared to face it, then you shouldn't be on there. And that's the truth. That is the truth. Any post that you post up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anything you do on Twitter, YouTube, or any particular format whatsoever, you will be faced with individual people who may not see it the same way that you do. I think the most disliked video that I've ever received, and I think it is the most disliked video. Let me actually look just to make certain that I'm not just pulling from like a rabbit out of the hat or whatever. Let me see here. I wish it would let me look views, visibility, description, title. I have no idea how to actually do this. I'm actually now actually looking through this and stuff, but I have no idea how to go about it. Other features, no. Again, I have no idea. I'm just right now looking through this and stuff. Yeah, I have no idea. This is actually the first time I'm actually looking through this stuff. Anyway, either way, I'll actually kind of... I'll eventually look through it just to see if I can't find it. But to that degree, though, there is one video that I know that received the most dislikes in a video. And, surprisingly, it was something that, I didn't realize was going to happen. I didn't even realize people were remotely disgusted by the fact that I even talked about it. It was about Nier Automata. Now, Nier Automata was receiving big-time awards, okay? We're talking some ridiculous amounts of awards for best music, best gameplay, best story. I've stated my case, so I'm not going to repeat it again, but I've basically said I don't see what's the big deal. I don't see why it became a big game as it is, and the story was confusing to me and stuff like that. To me, it was what it was. But to other people, it was considered a masterpiece. And to them, it's still considered a masterpiece. To me, it's nothing. But to that degree. I was just kind of surprised, and so when I stated my case, there were so many people who hated that video. I think right now it's at 10 dislikes? 10 dislikes? So, you would think that someone like me, as small as I am, when you receive negativity like that, you would think the one thing you would do would probably be like, remove the video since it's the most disliked. But I thought about it for a while. I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I'm leaving it on there. Yes, it's controversial at this point. Yes, there may be people who will find it a year or two later, and they'll be completely hated about it, and it'll grow in hate probably. But that's just how it is. You know, that's who I am. If I didn't like Nier Automata, that's fine. If everyone else loves it, that is also fine, you know? I'm glad that you enjoyed it better than what I could. You know, it works in multitudes of ways. So it's one of those things where it's like, even though I may not have liked the game, even though I may not have enjoyed it, I gave my thoughts. You know, I gave my opinion. I've stated what I've wanted to state it. And nothing's going to change that. But I'm not going to bash other people because they say they enjoy the game better and they don't understand why I didn't like it. I'm not going to do that. You know, what I've said is what I've said. And what you've said is what you've said. Some of you may not have said the pleasant words to say, but you stated your case. You love the game and I don't. That's just how it needs to be. So instead of feeling hated and disgusted and stuff about people hating that video and stuff, I should look at it as like, you know what? That's fine. You enjoy the game? That's good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I just didn't enjoy it as well as I did the original Nier, you know? And the story, to me, doesn't make sense, but for other people, they enjoy that type of stuff. Let that be. So, yeah, you're going to have to face negativity one way or another. You know, regardless of who you are, regardless of what type of content you make, you're going to find haters all the time. Doesn't matter. So to me, I'm glad that I do face these challenges on occasion. Do I dislike them and hate them and stuff? Yeah, name me one person who doesn't like receiving a hate comment. Name me one person who would rather see nothing but hate comments. You know? No one would. Everyone wants their videos to be good received. Everyone wants to receive a like rather than a hate it. Everyone would want to see people talking about something good rather than something that they hate or something like that. You know, people want that. But that's not the reality of things. You know, it really isn't. So we have to face the negativity like we actually do with the positives. We really do have to face them head on. And there is one more thing I do want to talk about. I'm not going to do a separate video on it, because to me, that is clickbaity to its definition. It really is clickbaity if I did a separate video on it. So, I'm going to talk about it right now. Recently, Ninja changed platform from Twitch to Mixer. Now, if you don't know the full story, I highly recommend you check out any particular journalist or stuff who recently talked about this subject. I'm sure some people have already heard about this, but in case you don't know, I recommend you check it out. But basically what it is this, is that Ninja was paid, and a lot of people say $1 million, some people are saying more. Either way, he's being paid a lot of money from the person who holds the streaming platform Mixer. And people are saying Microsoft, so it would make sense that Microsoft would want a Twitch streamer like Ninja, a popular name, mind you, a popular name, and ask him to transfer to different streaming service and pay a lot of money. And in Ninja's case, you know, I don't like the guy. I don't care much for him considering what he does and stuff, but he is a strategist platformer. He is a strategist content creator, you know. He's mostly a streamer, but I'm sure he does other things along the line and stuff. But he is very strategic. You know, he's made a lot of money from just streaming Fortnite, and that is what got him high up on the tier. A very popular multiplayer game, Fortnite. And then, of course, to be paid by another platform who did Apex Legends. I'm not sure who did that, so don't ask me on that. I don't know anything about it at all. But the person that owns Apex Legend paid him $1 million, supposedly, to play Apex Legend. So he is making buttloads of money at this point, okay? Doing that alone. I'm not sure if he plays it because he enjoys it, or if he plays it for the views. Either way, I don't know, because I have no interest in Fortnite. I have no interest in Battle Royale type combat games. Therefore, I have no interest in Ninja himself. But recently, he started kind of declining in popularity, actually. For some reason, he went from the #1 most viewed, and I don't know what position he is, but someone topped him, actually. Someone topped him. I think Ninja realized that eventually he's going to get dethroned, and eventually he's going to go down. You know, PewDiePie just recently had to go through something like that. Record, from what I've heard, it was actually a computer. I don't know how that works. So it's like a computer was trying to beat PewDiePie in subscriber numbers. And obviously it shows. That's the sad thing. It shows that it generates a computer subscriber number. It's literally a computer versus PewDiePie. That's messed up. But in Ninja's case, he has to deal with, like, the times, you know. Fortnite is, yes, right now on the top, but eventually it's going to decline. And once it declines, so does you. And as far as I know, Ninja only does Fortnite. Therefore, his platform will fade eventually. And I'm sure even Ninja sees this. He sees that the fact that eventually it will fall, and so will I. But if other corporations still sees him as a big deal, and he will be for a while, a long while actually in this rate, they will purchase him to be put on different platforms, so that way they can get higher up tiers and stuff. And so Ninja thinks that if he's fallen in popularity on Twitch, maybe if I go on to Mixer, that will keep me at the #1 spot perhaps. It's more or less of a stat thing. It could be a money thing, it could be a number thing, but either way, what a lot of people are thinking is that, oh, if you are a small-time streamer and Ninja goes on to Mixer, you should move from Twitch to Mixer as well. Which means it would be a perfect chance for you to get popularity. I say that's not entirely true. That's not always the case. Sometimes it can actually backfire. You know, yes, Ninja moving to Mixer is actually a good move on Microsoft ends. Hell, it became the most downloaded app recently. But that doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to go on Mixer and stay on Mixer. You know, maybe they'll go between here and there. And Rich from Review Tech USA actually made a good point. There was somebody that was trying to beat YouTube, and a whole lot of YouTube content creators moved on to Blimp because Blimp was putting out better profit. You know, they were paying YouTubers for every video that they make and stuff. They were actually helping them. And guess what happened? Blimp went under. It no longer exists anymore. It's gone. It's history. And so YouTube is still relevant now to this day. The same can't be said, however, for Mixer versus Twitch. The only reason why I say it won't happen because Microsoft is a big brand. They own Mixer, so Mixer has a chance to stay firm. But I doubt it will beat Twitch. Twitch is still a big streaming service. It is still big to this day. So until you get these other big corporations that are connected to Twitch, you know, like esports or E3 or any particular place whatsoever, until they decide to move that platform to Mixer, until they do that, Twitch will still survive and Mixer will only have Ninja. Now, we're not seeing this happen anytime soon, but I don't see myself moving anytime soon. Hell, I'm just now starting to learn how Twitch works and stuff like that. You know, so why would I move from Twitch, a well-known platform, and move into a new platform that I have no idea of? I didn't even know Mixer was a thing until this whole news came up. So it's like, I don't know Mixer enough to know if it's even going to be remotely positive, you know? So I'm going to stick with Twitch instead. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on Twitch in general. So, now I don't have 100 followers on Twitch, but I have like, I think right now I have 38 followers, which is pretty decent when you consider it's just a game play channel, whatever. But either way, I really don't know what else to say. Just kind of surprised of how I've got 100 subscribers on YouTube and stuff. And here I am, I'm talking about Twitch and everything. So, but there are going to be some changes here and there that I do on YouTube and stuff. And for those of you who have followed me, subscribed to me and stuff like that, I thank you for accepting me for who I am, accepting these subtle changes and stuff. I mean, you more or less stick to the channel just because of the fact that you enjoy what I do, you know, you enjoy what I make and stuff. I will do everything in my power from here on out. I will do what I can to deliver better content for you guys. Now, I can't guarantee the level of content like Gerard the Completionist or, for that matter, Metal Jesus and stuff, but there will be some good videos that you may enjoy watching. There may be some videos that you'll be like, hey, this is actually pretty good. I wouldn't mind actually watching this and stuff, you know? And I will try to do what I can. But I thank you guys so much for subscribing to me. For the 100 people who have just joined on YouTube to subscribe to my channel and stuff, I thank you so much. Thank you so much. And yeah, at this rate, here's to the next milestone. Which, if I ever get to 1,000 subscribers, oh boy, woo, my ego will grow at that point. My ego will grow, and I will have a big head. That would be bad, because then I can't fit through the door. Oh well. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you in the next video, so thank you so much. You have a wonderful day. Take care, guys.